1, 2.
Attends, tu veux que j'explique la Rukia ou pas?
Oui, la Rukia, le captage.
Le captage?
Oui, parce qu'il s'apprend, c'est quelque chose de nouveau.
Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana. Innaka antal alimul hakim wa la fahma lana illa ma fahamtana. Innaka antal jawadul kareem. We're going to speak inshallah about Ruqya and then about jinn catching. So what is Ruqya? Ruqya is treating sihr and jinn and evil eye, ayn problems with Quran and Sunnah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this subject is very important because many people suffer from these diseases and go to very many different places to look for cure without result. And many people, many Muslims fall into shirk, go to sorcerers, go to seers, knowing it is haram or not knowing. So this is why there must be an Islamic solution to this problem. So first of all, the problems of sorcery and jinns are a reality. It is not just stories and superstitions, because Allah Ta'ala says, وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. We ask Allah to protect us from the evil of those who blow on the knots. They are the sorcerers who attach knots and recite satanic things. So Allah Ta'ala is giving us prayers to protect ourselves from them and to cure ourselves from this evil. So that means that evil is a reality. Someone could say, well, she's attaching knots, reciting my name, reciting satanic things. Well, I don't care. That cannot harm me. What can that do to me? But no, actually it can harm you. It can attach someone's life so that he will not gain any more money, get work. It can attach a woman's womb so she will not have any children. It can attach a child's mind, a student's mind, so he will not understand anything at school. And Allah Ta'ala says, وَيَوْمَ نَحْشُرُهُمْ جَمِيعًا. I read قالون, so in Hafs, وَيَوْمَ يَحْشُرُهُمْ جَمِيعًا يَا مَعْشَرَ الْجِنِّ قَدْ اسْتَكْثَرْتُم مِنَ الْإِنسِ. Allah Ta'ala says, the day we will gather them all. Oh, you jinn kind, you have too much abused of humans. That means that Yawm al-Qiyamah, on the day of judgment, many people are going to complain to Allah Ta'ala that the jinns have spoiled their lives, that they got them crazy, they got them ill, they spoiled their work, they spoiled their marriage, they spoiled their children, etc. And Allah Ta'ala is going to ask the jinns, why did you do that? What's happening? Why did you do all that evil to mankind, to people? And the jinns are going to answer, they're going to defend themselves. They'll say, no, we did not ourselves harm the people. The people are the ones who came and to seek for problems with us. People came to us asking our protection, asking our services, and when they had what they wanted, they did not give us what they promised us. And that's how we took revenge on them. And also people went to sorcerers and paid them, and the sorcerers sent us to harm people. That's how it happened. We did not go on ourselves alone to harm the people. So each one is going to defend himself, trying to push the responsibility on the other one. And Allah Ta'ala Yawm al-Qiyamah is going to make the judgment and justice between men and jinns. So this shows that the harm that jinns do to people is also a reality. Now, how to know that you are concerned by the problem of jinn and sihr and evil eye? So you must avoid to say that anything happens to you comes from sihr when it is not from sihr. It is just normal life problems, and you have to fight those problems. And you also must avoid having sihr and jinns and not knowing it is sihr, because at that time you're going to be looking for other solutions that will not work, because it's not the proper solution to your problem. So there are 4 symptoms that show you that you have a problem of jinn and sihr. The first symptom is the blockages in life. That means you can't get a job, your money gets wasted, you can't get married, you can't have children, you can't study, you can't pass your examinations. Whenever you have a project, it will not work. Whenever people promise to help you, they will not help you, etc. So it is unusual blockages, and it is repeated, it is systematically. So until you are sure that something's wrong with your life, something's going wrong. How can these things go wrong every time? Each time, unusually, and you're doing all possible effort that one person can do, and each time it's not working. So you understand that there is an invisible force that is stopping your life, that is blocking your life, and that is sorcery. And that is what Allah Ta'ala said, those who blow on the knots, that means they attach to your life. There's this invisible force that is attaching your life, and whatever you are doing, it's not working. This is the first symptom of sorcery, jinns and evil eye. The second is unusual health problems. You have pains, you have unusual diseases, you go to doctors, they don't understand, you make analysis, they don't find anything, you take medicine, it's not going away. For example, if someone has eaten sorcery, it's going to give him pain in his stomach. And the doctors do not understand this pain. When you eat sorcery, it is some drops of liquid that is put in the water or in the food, and when you eat it, it takes shape, it takes a form in your stomach, in your intestines, like glue. So it is sticking on your stomach like glue, and your body feels there's something that's not part of your body that is inside, and it attacks it. That means the acids in your stomach will attack it to remove it, as if you are rubbing, you are scratching your skin because you're feeling something, and it's not going away. So you're going to scratch until it becomes red, until it becomes painful, and then you scratch until it's bleeding, and you scratch until it gets to a cut. And that's what's happening in your stomach. And the doctors don't understand, because this kind of thing happens to someone who drinks too much alcohol or eats too much spicy food. That can make the same harm to your stomach. So they will tell you to avoid acid food, because if you eat acid food, that will get it worse. So you're going to avoid some kinds of food that will worsen your situation. But yet they're not understanding the problem, and they're not getting to a clue. And you can drink some medicine that will annihilate the acids in your stomach, and you will feel relieved for some time. That is a kind of medicine you can take if you have eaten something that is too spicy and it is burning your stomach. So you will take it, it will just go by. But you cannot keep taking that 24 hours every day, because you need those acids to digest your food, and that can happen since the entrance until the exit in your stomach and intestines. So this is the kind of unusual health problems. If you walk on sorcery, that will give you pains in your legs, that can give you skin problems, eczema and psoriasis. They are sort of buttons or eczemas that medicine does not understand. And they say that they don't understand how does this come, why does it come. It just appears and it moves around in the body, and it appears in different ways, and they don't have any solution. And this psoriasis only comes by contact with sorcery. That contact is walking on it most of the time. It can be touched by any other means. So the second symptom of sorcery and jinns and evil eye is unusual health problems. Today, medicine is so much advanced, so much evaluated, that we cannot imagine that there's one microbe, one virus, a cut, a break, something going wrong that they cannot see. So how can they see this illness and this problem and not understand where it comes from? And they will make so many experiments and not find any clue for it. So that means it is very possibly coming from a sorcery or jinn or evil eye problem. And this second symptom also is the Quran. These 4 symptoms I am telling you, they are all mentioned in Quran. The first one, the blockages in life, is the knots. They attach your life. The second one, unusual health problems. Allah Ta'ala says, كَالَّذِي يَتَخَبَّطُهُ الشَّيْطَانُ مِنَ الْمَسِّ, like the one who is falling down by crisis of shaitan. And saying someone being possessed, falling, having crisis, and shaitan speaking. This is an example of unusual health problem. The third symptom is unusual mental states. That means you get angry too much, you are sad, you are afraid, you are forgetting, you cannot concentrate, you are hearing things, seeing things. It goes up to madness. And an example of this, I had some time ago a couple that came for treatment, and the woman told me that she dreams about blood. She sees blood in her dreams. So I told her, that means they made sihr to you with your blood, with your menses blood. And when they do that to a woman, it will change her blood, meaning it will change her feelings. It will change her feelings. That means she cannot bear her husband anymore. If he speaks, that gets her nervous. If he wants to touch her, she cannot bear it. It's like something disturbing her. And she told me sexual relations is impossible for her. She told me that's exactly what's happening to me. And said, that's it. That's what Allah Ta'ala said. فَيَتَعَلَّمُونَ مِنْهُمَا مَا يُفَرِّقُونَ بِهِ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَزَوْجِهِ. They learn from them how to separate the man and his wife. A couple is happy and loving each other, everything is fine, and they make sihr. Now they hate each other and they get angry and they say terrible things and they cannot have relations together. And if they go far from each other, they miss one another and they regret. Why did they do that? Why did they say that? But when they come back together, it starts again. That is sihr, changing the mental state of man. And the fourth symptom is bad dreams. Whatever they do in sihr and jinns, most of the time will appear in your dreams. So for example, if they put sihr in the graveyard, and sihr in the graveyard will make you become like dead. That means you are tired, you are depressed, you're not interested about anything, and you see dead people in your dreams. Either live people, you see them dead, or dead people, you see them alive, or you see yourself dead, or you see graves, or you see graveyard, or you see funerals. By any means, you'll see something connected to death. So that means they have made the sorcery, put it in the graveyard. If they put sorcery in the water, in a river, in the sea, they do that so that your life gets wasted like the water, like a river going by without any benefit. Your money will get wasted as if it is water, as if you are carrying water in your hands, and that water just runs away, and you don't know how your money has gone. And you'll be dreaming about water, so you see rivers, you see yourself on the border or crossing or swimming or getting drowned, or you see tsunami, or you see rain, any kind of water you're going to see. So this is how different sorceries will appear in your dreams. If they do the knots, you will see snakes. If they say jinns on you, you will see dogs mostly. If they make sacrifices against you, you will see cows and sacrifice animals. If they put the sorcery upwards in a tree or a mountain, and that is done so that it will envelop your life. It will surround your life so that you go round and round. That means you're having projects, you're going, and every time you come back to your starting point. all your effort comes to zero, and you're back on your starting point. So instead of going forward in your life, you're going round and round, going back to the same place every time. And it will take your mental over the reality, so that you'll be afraid of things, or imagining things, or getting angry. Anyway, you will be thinking unreal things, instead of thinking about constructive things and going forward in your life. You're just imagining things. So that if they do that sihr somewhere high, you will see yourself climbing, or flying, or falling, or going down, upwards, downwards. You see yourself in an airplane, etc. And also sexual relations in dreams comes from jinns. That means they send jinn to prevent you getting married or having children, and you're going to be dreaming about sexual relations. So also I told you these 4 symptoms are mentioned in Quran, and for the 4th one, Allah Ta'ala says, وَيُذْهِبْ عَنْكُمْ رِجْزَ الشَّيْطَانِ. He will take away from you the impurity of shaitan. That is in the battle of Badr. The night before the battle, shaitan made sexual dreams to Sahaba to get them on janaba for the battle, and Allah Ta'ala sent a rain so that they can make ghusl, they can purify themselves from this janaba. And Allah said that this janaba, these sexual dreams, are made by shaitan. So sexual dreams is one of the most important dreams that are made by jinn and sorcery. So if you see these 4 symptoms, what should you do? Take some water. Take 18 bottles of 1.5 liters, approximately 25 liters of water, either in a big gallon or bottles as you like. So you open those bottles and you recite on them Al-Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi, Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Al-Falaq, Al-Nas, plus 3 special verses to remove sorcery. They are the verses of Musa alayhi salam with the sorcerers of Fir'aun, where Allah Ta'ala says that Allah destroys the sorcery by His words. It is Surah Al-A'raf, Surah 7, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى مُوسَى أَنْ أَلْقِ عَصَاكَ, the verses 117 to 122. Surah 7, 117 to 122. And then Surah Yunus, فَلَمَّا أَلْقَوْا قَالَ مُوسَى مَا جِئْتُمْ بِهِ السِّحْرِ, Surah 10, verses 81 and 82. Surah 10, verses 81 and 82. And then Surah Taha, Surah 20, قُلْنَا لَا تَخَفْ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْأَعْلَى, verses 68 to 70. Surah 20, verses 68 to 70. All these verses, you recite them 11 times each. Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi, Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Al-Falaq, Al-Nas, Surah 7, 117 to 122, Surah 10, 81, 82, Surah 20, 68 to 70. When you have recited all this on your water, that water is going to remove the jinn and sorcery and evil eye by the will of Allah Ta'ala. So what are you going to do with this water? You're going to drink and bathe every day with 1 bottle, with 1.5 liters. You can heat it if you wish in the microwave or otherwise, and you pour it entirely on yourself. You can take this shower, in your bath, but you must put a big basin to collect the water, to throw it outside so it does not go with the wastes. And you're going to wash this way for 12 days. And also you're going to spray all your house, the walls, the roof, the doors and windows, and the ground. You spray all the house at once, all together in once. If you have a shop, or a workplace, or you have some vehicles, or you have a construction that is blocked because of sorcery, so you're going to spray it all with this water. Inshallah, it will be removed. So what you should understand about this method is that reading Quran in water, to drink, to wash, and to spray your house is more efficient than just reading in the house or listening to Quran by a cassette or by a tape or by a CD. And the difference between these two is like if you are hot you are hot, it is very hot, and you are trying to refresh yourself with a fan. And now you're going to refresh yourself with a shower. So the shower is going to refresh you much more than the fan. This is the difference between the effect of reading Quran on water to drink, wash and spray your house and workplace compared to just reading Quran or listening to Quran by a tape. So this is why to remove the sorcery and jinns and evil eye, you must go through this procedure. It will not be enough just to listen to Quran or to read Quran. You must read it on water. And when you read it on water, all that lecture is concentrating, is adding up on that water. And then when you're going to wash with it and drink it and spray your house, that will remove, inshallah, the evil things that are inside. So, what else? These verses I have given you, they are the essential verses of Rukia. They are the essentials. You can add much more verses in the hadiths, in the book of Rukia, or whatever verses you like, or read more than 11 times. Anyway, the more you read, the more it will be efficient. The more it will be strong. So even if you have a difficult problem, you can read more and more and more and more until this Quran will be sufficient to solve your problem. And even if someone cannot read all these ayat I have given, so whatever ayat you can read, you're going to read them more and more and more until it will be sufficient. This is why we are saying that any Muslim should do this. If you are seeing that your projects are not working, that your child is crying by night, is fearing from something in his dreams, that your wife has pains that doctors do not understand, so hold her, read Quran on her, read on the water, read as much as you can, and give her that water to drink and bathe and spray your house. That will diminish your problems very much. Even if it will not totally go, but it will diminish very much. So any Muslim should do this to treat his own problems. Now, if your problem is too much for you and you're not getting to a clue, so you can see someone who is specialized, who has more knowledge on this topic. Now, to treat more, I'm just going to give you some clues. So, when you read Quran on water, you can also read on oil, olive oil or habba sauda oil, or any oil that is good for massage. That is good to put on your body. So you put it beside the water and you read Quran on it. After you bathe with the water, you're going to rub your body with that oil. And as long as the oil is on your skin, so the Quran is going to work on your body. So it is better to do this before sleeping, so the Quran will affect on you all night long. So after you wash with the water, you rub your body with oil, and you especially insist on the places where you have a problem, where you have pain, or you have skin diseases, or any problem you are having in some place in your body. Now, sorcery is 4 kinds. There's the sorcery you can eat. I have told about that. So if you have eaten sorcery, you should get one herb, one leaf of sana. It is called sana in Hadith, in Arabic. Also in French and English, they call it sana leaves. And you should find this in pharmacies, herbalist pharmacies, they should have it. Otherwise, you get in the herbalists that bring that from Arab countries or from India, any country where there's a desert place or people going to Hajj and Umrah can bring it for you. So you take some sana leaves and you're going to boil 1 tablespoon of sana leaves with half a liter, 1 pint of Quranic water. So you boil it and you drink it on fast, on the morning before eating anything. That will give you diarrhea, that will empty your stomach, and if you have sorcery, it will remove it and give you pain. Sana leaves empty the stomach. And Rasulullah said, Alaykum bis sana wa law marra fi sana. Drink sana even once a year. So it's just a matter of cleaning your stomach once a year, once after a time. But when you drink it with Quranic water, that time it's going to remove sorcery. And when it removes it, it's like taking glue off your skin, so it's going to pain you. Especially that skin is already paining. So it's going to pain you very much. So if it does give you pain, you understand that you really have eaten sorcery. And that sorcery is going away. So you must drink it every day until it will give you no more pain. When it will give you no more pain, you understand that sorcery is finished in your stomach. So this recipe is very easy and very practical for any person, very easy to do and very beneficial. Very, very beneficial, because the sorcery one has eaten does too many problems to the person. And the second kind of sorcery is the one that is put in the body by a jinn. That means they send a jinn, and the jinn puts that sorcery in the body to provoke some illness. For example, to stop someone understanding at school, they put the sorcery in his brain. To stop a woman having children, they'll put the sorcery in her ovaries. It can be anywhere in the body, and it will make illness, it will make pains, it will make dysfunction in the body. So you will remove that sorcery by hijama. Hijama, cupping, those cups that suck the bad blood from the body. So Rasulullah said that hijama shifa'un min arba'ina da. Is hijama, cupping, is a remedy from 40 diseases. In another hadith he says, علاج من السحر. It is a remedy for sihr. And how to remove sihr? By hijama. Hijama is a remedy to 40 diseases. So according to the disease we are treating by hijama, this hijama is going to be applied somehow different. We apply it differently according to the disease we are trying to remove by this hijama. So if you try to remove sihr and jinns by hijama, you're going to make the hijama on the place where you have a problem. So if it is the ovaries, it will be the ovaries. If it is the head, you put it beneath the head or on the head if someone can shave his head. If it is the heart, if it is any part of the body. So you put the hijama there. Also, concerning the hijama, the cupping for sorcery, we do not need to take a lot of blood. So we're going to cut very, very lightly. Actually, we're not going to cut lines, but just points. When you take the razor, you just make points. As soon as you point it, that's enough. You don't need to cut to make a line. Because just a few drops of blood will be enough. And this hijama that is very on the skin, it does not go inside the flesh, inside the meat. It cannot harm, it cannot touch anything important in the body. So this is why it is easy and anyone can learn it. So you put hijama, and while the hijama is there, now you must read the Rukia. You must read the Quran on the person 20 to 30 minutes. This is how hijama is used to remove sorcery. So if someone has lots of pains on his body, you will put as many hijamat as needed, and at the same time, when you finish putting them on the body, you read the Ruqya for 20 to 30 minutes, and then you remove those hijama. So I told you that sihr can be made 4 different ways. The first way is eaten. The second way is put in the body by a jinn. The third way is made by a distance. We call it symbolic sorcery. That means they will take something from you, like your photo or your hair or your clothes or anything that you have touched, and they will make knots, they will make different rituals on that, recite different things, and then they will put it in a graveyard or in a river, in a well, in a tree, etc., in the toilet, and somewhere, to make it more efficient and to make it more hard to discover. And that's what has been done to Rasulullah ﷺ. They have taken his hair, they attached knots, and they put it in the head, in the skull of a hyena. And then they put it in a well that people use as a toilet, in a dry well, under the stone on which the people sit to make their needs. You see? So that is all symbolic effects. that work. So how do you remove that sihr? Rasulullah said when he was ill, he prayed Allah Ta'ala very much. Aisha radiallahu anha said, وَلَكِنَّهُ دَعَى وَدَعَى ثُمَّ دَعَى وَدَعَى ثُمَّ دَعَى وَدَعَى. That Rasulullah was ill, then he made dua and he made dua. And he made dua and he made dua. And he made dua and he made dua. And then he said, "Oh Aisha, do you know that Allah Ta'ala has given me the explanation of my illness?" And he told her what has happened. He told her what has happened, and he went with the Sahaba, and they went to the well and removed that sorcery. So we do not have the angels to explain to us what has happened, and also most of the time, even if we could know where it is, even if the person that did it tells you where it is, most of the time you cannot remove it. So how are we going to do? So each Raqi has looked for clues to this situation, and the clue we have reached that I'm giving to you is that we use Quranic verses for each kind of sorcery. For example, if it is in a well, if it is in the graveyard, we will take this verse, أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيِّتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ, is that person who was dead, and we brought him back to life, and we gave him a light by which he walks amongst people. Is he equal to the one كَمَنْ مَثَلُهُ فِي الظُّلُمَاتِ لَيْسَ بِخَارِجٍ مِنْهَا, that is in the darkness and not going out of it? And we will add this verse to the water where Rukia has been read. And you're going to wash with this water. You're going to add that verse either by reading, reciting 11 times, or by writing once and diluting that Quran in that water. For example, if it is in the water, we will take the verse فَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى مُوسَى أَنْ نِضْرِبْ بِعَصَاكَ الْبَحْرَ, and we revealed to Musa to hit the sea by your stick, and it opened into two pieces like mountains, etc., etc. So we have 45 verses for 45 kinds of sorcery and the way of recognizing each kind of sorcery. You can find all that on my website, benhalimabderraouf.free.fr. You can get it all in my website or in my book. You can charge my book directly from my website with all these explanations. So if you understand the dreams and the problems and the mental state of the person, and you note all these kinds of sorceries that are affecting him, and then you add all these different verses according to his symptoms in that water, and he's going to wash with it, and all that sorcery is going to be gone. And you don't need to go fetch for the sorcery in the river, in the mountain, in the grave, in the toilet, etc., 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 because that is nearly impossible and very difficult. May Allah Ta'ala help us. And the fourth kind of sorcery is the sorcery that one touches, and most of the time you walk on it. When you have physical contact with the sorcery, walking on it, it can be otherwise. For example, I had a girl, she has lost all her hair, and she had very bad skin on her head, and there was a lady that made sorcery on her scarf, and that sorcery touched her head, and she lost her hair, etc. So that means that the sorcery you touch can be touched by any way, but mostly it is walked on. So when you walk on sorcery, or you have physical contact with sorcery, it will most of the time give you skin diseases. And those skin diseases, we treat them by hijama and reciting and washing with water and rubbing with oil. So these are four kinds of sorcery, either being eaten or put in the body by a jinn, or symbolic sorcery, or contact with sorcery, and the ways of treating them. Now I'm going to talk to you about jinns. Allah Ta'ala has preferred humans on jinns, because Allah Ta'ala says, إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً, I am putting a Khalifa, someone to replace me, to govern this world in my name, on my behalf. I am putting a Khalifa on earth. When the jinns were already on earth, that means that the Caliph of Allah Ta'ala is not the jinns, but the human. And when Allah Ta'ala created Adam a.s., Allah asked Iblis to bow to make sujood to Adam a.s., and did not ask Adam to make sujood to Iblis. And all the prophets Allah Ta'ala has sent are only humans. There never was any jinn prophets. So the humans were prophets for the men and jinns. So this is how Allah Ta'ala has preferred men on jinns. And this brings us to a conclusion, that is, however a jinn will attack or harm a human being, you can always beat him and you can always overcome him. And I'm inshallah giving you 5 examples on how jinns can attack humans and 5 examples how we can beat them. The most of the time, the jinns attack the person in the dream. You are sleeping, you see a snake attacking you, or a dog, or a monster, or a cow, or a policeman, or any kind of thing attacking you. So they are jinns, and sometimes it could be the sorcerer himself that is coming in your dream. So if you see that thing attacking you in your dream, if you remember to say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, to recite Quran, so he will be stuck, he will be blocked, and he's going to run away. So what must you do? You must catch him first and read Ayatul Kursi, read until he is dead. And if he's dead in the dream, he's really dead, it is finished with him. So how can you remember in your dream to catch him and to read Ayatul Kursi? You must prepare yourself before sleeping. So before sleeping, you do your adhkar, you recite Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Al-Falaq, An-Nas in your hands, and you wipe with them 3 times, and you add Ayatul Kursi, and then you add this verse, أَيْنَمَا تَكُونُوا يَأْتِ بِكُمُ اللَّهُ جَمِيعًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. It is Baqarah 148. That means wherever you are, Allah will bring you all, because Allah is Almighty. And you repeat this verse and you ask Allah Ta'ala to bring you this jinn that is harming you in your dream and to give you the power to beat him. And you go to sleep with the anger to catch him, as if you are going to chase him. And as soon as you see him in your dream, you catch him and you recite it, goes until he's dead. So you're going to fetch for him every night until you finish them all. And even if it is someone else having jinn problems, if it is your child screaming in the night, if it is your wife seeing a man sleeping with her in her dreams, if it is your mother hearing voices that are confusing her head, so you can yourself make dua before sleeping and ask Allah to bring you his jinn in your dream, and you're going to catch him and kill him, and that person will be relieved. And even if it is the sorcerer that you see in your dream, if you kill him or hit him in your dream, the evil he is doing will come back onto him, inshallah. I'm giving you a couple of stories on this point, inshallah. So once there was a young girl, and it was one of her grandmothers that was making sihr to her. And the old woman came in her dream with a knife to stab her. And the girl grabbed the knife off her and stabbed her. And the old woman woke up in the morning and started vomiting blood for 3 days, and then she died, she passed away. And another story, I had a patient that was an idol worshipper and in Africa, and he left those idols, but he did not choose to become Muslim or Christian, so he did not have any religion. So he told me one night he was chased in his dream, he was attacked by a bull. So he ran away and hid behind the tree, and the bull passed, and it was the head of the bull and the body of a man. So when he saw that it was the body of the man, so he put his leg to make him fall down, and the guy fell down, and his mask of bull fell down, and he saw the person making sorcery to him. So he took the head of the bull and put it on his head and started chasing that person. And that person now ran away until he went into a house, into a yard in the house, and he saw all the sorcerers of the village in that yard. And they were telling him, well, did you catch him? Did you hit him? And they did not know that he now was being chased by the other one. So you see that this man is not even Muslim, he does not have any religion, but the way he was attacked in his dream, he defended himself until he sent that sihr, that sorcery, back to those who did it. You see? Because he's not believer, they're not believers too, so they fought. So the one who had most determination, he won. He beat the other ones. So if you are a believer and you read Quran and you pray Allah Ta'ala to help you, so you can also beat them. So if you know that there are some people making sorcery to you, so before sleeping you're going to ask Allah Ta'ala to give you the power to beat them, and you search for them in your dreams until you finish them all. And I'm telling you that the sorcerers, you cannot forgive them, because Allah Ta'ala la yaghfiru an yushraka bihi. Allah does not forgive that one associates to Him. And the one who's making sihr, he's making kufr, and he's working with the devil. He has chosen to be on the side of shaitan. So there's no forgiveness for him. So even if you do forgive him, anyway he's going to hell. There is no solution for him. So best you ask Allah Ta'ala to punish him, so he will stop making sihr to you and to other people. And some people, when the patients did that, and they had big problems, so those problems, they had accident, they had very, very bad things happening to them, and that was a cause for them to make repentance, to make tawbah to Allah Ta'ala. So the punishment of Allah Ta'ala can be a good thing for the person in this world, so he would stop making his evil things and come back to Allah Ta'ala. So this is the first way of beating the jinns, and I spoke to you also about sorcerers when they come in the dreams. Second way is that many people, or some people, when they're going to sleep or when they're sleeping, they feel something pressurizing on them, so they are paralyzed, they cannot move, they cannot speak, maybe even they cannot breathe. So that is jinns attacking the person that way. So if you feel this, what are you going to do? You are sleeping or about to sleep and you feel something paralyzing you. So first of all, you're going to catch him. How can you catch him when you are paralyzed yourself? You're going to try to hold your hands. Just try, make intention to close your hands. Just do as you can to close your hands, and then you read in your mind. As your tongue is attached, you leave your tongue. You just read in your mind, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum, ayatul kursi, until your tongue is released. When your tongue is released, you continue reciting with loud voice, and you hold him, you catch him, you don't leave him, you catch, you read until he is dead. Well, actually, until you feel nothing. Either he is dead, either he has gone, he has run away. But even if he did run away, so be sure he will not come back anymore. He will not try that another time. So that is the second way. The third way is when you see the jinns in reality. So we cannot see the jinns as they really are. But sometimes the jinns take shapes to appear to us. Like Abu Huraira, when he caught the shaitan that came to steal the food of sadaqah. Like one Sahabi also, he killed the snake, and then it turned out to be a jinn, etc. So jinns can appear to us in shape of snakes, cats, dogs, birds, and snake in shape of people. But that is very rare, but it can happen. For example, if you are going in a wood, in a dark place by night, driving, so you might see something frightening, you might see an old woman, you might see a young boy, and that will try to make you have an accident, etc. Maybe you can be in your house and you see a cat, or you see a bird, or you see something, you really don't know how it came here, and it looks so weird and it looks scary. So that could be a jinn, that could also be a sorcerer. So what are you going to do if you see those kinds of things? So you must know that a jinn cannot appear or disappear when you are looking at it. You cannot look in an empty place and the jinn is going to come out in front of you. You must look elsewhere, and then you turn back and you see something, you don't know how he came into here. And also, once he is here, he cannot go away as long as you're looking at him. So you must look away, you turn back, and you don't find him anymore. So he has disappeared. So if you see this thing that is weird, that seems strange, seems unnatural, and scary, what are you going to do? So you're going to look at him fixedly. You just fix him. Fix him very, very well, and don't leave him with your eyes. So when you start fixing him, looking at him fixedly, he cannot go away anymore. So you have caught him just with your eyes, by looking at him. and you start reciting Ayat al-Kursi, you reciting, you look at him, and if it is an evil jinn that has come to harm you, he will die, and that will be the end of it. And the fourth way of beating jinns is when someone is possessed, and he falls down, and the jinns are speaking, and he is moving, etc., is having crisis. So how are you going to do with it? So you hold him and you read Ayat al-Kursi on him, and you hit his neck. You hit his neck with your hands. You hit his neck with your hand this way, not too hard to harm the person, just as if you had a knife or if you had a sword and you're cutting his head, you're chopping his head. And you read Ayat al-Kursi and you hit on his neck. Inshallah, after a few minutes, the jinn will feel his head being cut off and he's going to run away, and the person will awake. And when the person will awake, you are going to tell him, now we're going to ask Allah Ta'ala to bring this jinn back. So we will finish with him, and we're not going to leave him play with us every time he comes and then he goes away. So now you recite on the person, أَيْنَمَا تَكُونُوا يَأْتِ بِكُمُ اللَّهُ جَمِيعًا. Wherever you are, Allah will bring you all, because Allah is Almighty. And you ask Allah to bring this jinn back so you can finish him. And you recite it, inshallah, the jinn will come back on the person. When the jinn is back on the person, now the situation has changed. Instead of the jinn possessing the person, it is the person possessing the jinn. So now you're going to read Ayat al-Kursi and hit his neck, and he cannot run away again. Now you're going to continue until either he becomes Muslim or he dies. And there's no third solution. And once you have done that, now I am going a bit far, but this is important to understand the jinn catching that we're going to talk about later on. Once you have done that with a person, once that jinn has died or has become Muslim, now you're going to tell the person, we're going to ask Allah to bring the other jinns that are with you. And you read أَيْنَمَا تَكُونُوا until they come, one by one. And you're going to repeat this procedure, killing or converting, until you get one that has embraced Islam. When you get one that has embraced Islam, inshallah it's going to be easier for the other ones to embrace Islam. When you have finished with the jinns that are inside the person, you tell him, now we ask Allah Ta'ala to bring the jinns that are in your house, in your family, and in your work. And you recite always أَيْنَمَا تَكُونُوا until they come, and discuss with them so that they convert to Islam. Now, to convert jinns to Islam, we have discovered that you don't need too much discussing. You just can read verses on them, and those verses will affect them, and they will embrace Islam. So you have a lot of verses to use in different cases for the jinns. And when you finished with that, you tell them, now we're going to, all these jinns that have been sent by sorcerers, we're going to ask Allah Ta'ala to bring all the jinns that are left with those sorcerers. So you recite أَيْنَمَا تَكُونُوا until they all come, and when they come, you discuss with them so they embrace Islam. And when they have all embraced Islam, you tell them, now you look at the sorcery everywhere you work, and you read verses to destroy the sorcerers, and then you recite وَكَانَ حَقًّا عَلَيْنَا نَصْرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. It is our duty to help the believers until Allah Ta'ala gives them swords and weapons, and then you recite فَقَاتِلُوا أَوْلِيَاءَ الشَّيْطَانِ, fight the allies of the devil. And when you recite that, the jinns are going to see that the allies of the devil are the sorcerers, and the people going to sorcerers asking them for sihr, and they're going to fight them because it is Allah Ta'ala who is ordering them to fight them. So this is the fourth situation, when someone is possessed by the jinns. And this situation is leading us to the jinn catching. That means once we have done that with the patient, that we have brought his jinns, that they have converted, and all the jinns connected to him, until all the jinns that are with the sorcerers making sihr to him, and converted them and turned them back against those sorcerers. So now this person can bring any jinns that we want, that are with other patients or other sorcerers or other places, any jinns. Because it is just a window, an opening on the jinn world. So we just recite, once we know that we want to bring the jinns of this patient or that house or this sorcerer, we just ask Allah Ta'ala to bring them, and we recite أينما تكونوا, and when they come we read verses in order to convert them, and they destroy the sorceries and then turn them back against the sorcerers they were working for. So this is the jinn catching, and you have more details about that on my website and in my book. May Allah Ta'ala help us. And the fifth way to beat the jinns is the mental way. I'm explaining to you this mental way. What is this mental way? For example, some people have places in their houses where they used to worship the jinns, where they pour milk, they pour honey, they put money, they put things for jinns every day, asking jinns to help them, to give them chance in their job, in their business, etc. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. It is very sad, but in many Muslim countries, some shirk habits are being used, as well as people praying and doing Islam, and they are doing shirk that is kufr. It is not small shirk, it is big, terrible shirk. That does exist in some countries. So, as people are getting knowledge of Islam, and so they are getting to know that they should not do these things, and they want to get rid of them, but they are afraid of those jinns that of course will not be happy that they are getting removed and their business is getting to an end. So people are afraid that those jinns are going to take revenge on them and give them problems if they are going to throw those things away. So what should you do? So you go to the place where sacrifices are given to the jinns, and you call those jinns, says, hey, there's jinns here, just come, I want to discuss with you. And the jinns are such that when you call them, they are compelled, they have to come. They have to come. It is as if I'm talking to you people, and this guy is not listening to me, and I'm telling, hey, listen to what, stop playing with your telephone and listen to me. So when I speak to him this way, so he has to listen to me. He cannot ignore me. He cannot not think. He has to listen to me, you see. And this is how jinns are. When you call them and you speak to them, they have to come. They must come. So they're going to come and listen to you. What do you want? And when you say that, so now you recite قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ وَبِذَلِكَ أُمِرْتُ وَأَنَا أَوَّلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. It is Surah Al-An'am 162 and 163 that says, say, my prayer, my sacrifice, my life and my death are for Allah, Lord of beings, Lord of words, alone with no associate. وَبِذَلِكَ أُمِرْ. That is the order I have received, and I am the first one to submit myself. And you're going to read this verse about 30 times. And this verse, that will destroy the sacrifices that have been given to jinns, and that will order them to submit themselves to Allah Ta'ala. So when you read this, that will destroy the shirk that has been made there, and that will compel the jinns to become Muslim. And it will be the end of that problem. And you take all those things that used to belong to them, you throw them all. So that is one example of the mental way of beating jinns. I'm giving you a second example. For example, someone who is having sexual dreams, too many sexual dreams, and you understand that it is jinns that are having relations with you. So what are you going to do before sleeping? You're going to speak to them. Say, hey, the jinns that come in my dreams, just come here, I want to talk with you. And you read, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. It is Surah Al-Rum, the verse 21. Amongst His signs, He has created from you, He has created for you, from yourself, wives or husbands. So you will find sakina, you will find peace with them, and He has put amongst you love and mercy. They are signs for the people who think in that. So you're going to, and this verse is the verse that says that Allah has given you husbands and wives from yourself. That means jinns for jinns and humans for humans. And it cannot be mixed jinns with humans. That has no, that will have no outcome. So when you read this verse on jinns, they will understand that it cannot work, this marriage between humans and jinns, and that Allah Ta'ala has given them jinniyat, male and female jinns, so they will be happy with them, and they will find love and pleasure and mercy and rest with them, and they don't need that, they cannot find with the humans, and they're going to go and leave you. So you also read that verse about 30 times, and then you say, now if I see you again in my dream, I'm going to kill you.